mean for travelers and also local industry players, especially small hotels and also SMEs? How can this concept be applied practically across ASEAN, ASEAN as a region and also ASEAN countries, Doctor?
Yeah, in practical terms, it means a seamless multi-country travel across ASEAN with coordinated promotions, simplified travel processes, and integrated transportation. But on the ground, the biggest threat is fragmentation. Okay, uh, each country still operates in silos with differing regulations, marketing messages, and limited collaborations. Without a political will and industry alignment, the concept risks remaining actually a paper version only. It's just a vision on paper, but we don't see it's going towards orang kata action. Yeah.
Mhm. And Doctor, if SMEs could change just one ASEAN rule tomorrow, which change would turn this concept into a reality, Doctor?
Okay, if they could actually collaborate. It's actually this when it comes to countries, between countries, it's actually government to government. Okay, we industry players will follow the guidelines done by each of the government. Means if it's Malaysia, we as Malaysians, we will follow what Malaysia wants us to do and what law we need to follow. So it's basically the ASEAN countries themselves, and with Malaysia, the chair now, should actually sit down and discuss something to ensure that the regulations of each country on the travel and tourism is similar, is similar, which will enable the SMEs to come out or collaborate more with their neighboring partners.
Mm-hmm. And Doctor, Doctor, one major barrier to cross-border tourism is often mentioned is cost, and airport taxes, hotel charges, and visa fees vary widely across the region. Should ASEAN consider a standard cap or a harmonized approach to take multi-country trips more affordable, Doctor?
Yes, but it's easier said than done, you know. The disparity is actually a deterrent for travelers planning multi-country trips. Actually, if we see the tourists come from EU, they want to go to Thailand, then they will come to Malaysia, they want to go to Singapore. But this is what, a regional cap would level the playing field actually. But government are still reluctant to let go of revenue streams. So they don't want to share the cake with the other Asian countries, you see. So the challenge is actually balancing affordability with national interests. So if not addressed, ASEAN actually will lose competitiveness to regions like the EU, yeah, and etc.
Mm-hmm. And Doctor, if a formal cap is unrealistic, would a single website per se that compares airport taxes and visa fees will be a simpler first step towards this idea, Doctor?
Yeah, actually, for sure, if we do a single website, of course, it will be a very good idea, whereby, but anyhow, it goes back to the countries themselves. So as an ASEAN chair, we should actually encourage the neighboring countries, the ASEAN countries, to actually build together, come together with one solution. Means if you say a website, yes, a website, a portal, or anything, a system, which actually will work together with all the rules and regulations, products, promotions in one. Yeah, then it will be a success. But the issue now is go back on regulations of each and every country, the laws of each and every country. So that is what actually deterring the plan of the ASEAN countries.
Mm-hmm. And Doctor, countries like Malaysia, Thailand, and Indonesia have built strong tourism brands. Is it possible to create a unified ASEAN identity without overshadowing these national efforts? And how can both levels of branding support each other instead of like competing with each other, Doctor?
Yeah, actually, this one we should see, right? Like we have Truly Asia, Amazing Thailand, a wonderful Indonesia, all these things. But the threat is actually the branding confusion. Okay, instead of diluting national brands, we need to an umbrella ASEAN story first. Okay, one that positions Southeast Asia as a diverse, multi-stop experience. Coordination is the key lah, we can say. So the countries, all the ASEAN countries need to have a good coordination, and actually without a unified branding guideline and regional storytelling, the one destination campaign may end up competing rather than completing these national efforts, So we don't want it to see competing. It must be just one. Yeah. But whether this can go into a success is a discussion between all the ASEAN countries.
And you mentioned just now that we should work together instead of competing with each other. But could a pool marketing fund, means that every country chipped in into the fund, be a workable way to keep both regional and national campaigns available or visible, Doctor?
Yeah, that's why we could say they have meetings, they have the Asian Tourism Ministers meetings, they have a lot of meetings regarding tourism in the ASEAN community itself. So they should take this opportunity, the governments or the ministries or the ministers of each Asian countries should actually take this opportunity to discuss and come out with a solution, you see, and then go back to their country and get their promotional funds for the ASEAN region and also for their own national initiatives.
And Malaysia is strong in halal tourism while Thailand excels in medical travel. Are there other niche tourism areas that ASEAN can develop collectively? What could be our next big regional product for eco-retreats, halal cruises, or maybe wellness clusters, Doctor?
Yeah, actually, I can say we actually risk missing the global niche tourism wave by working in silos. This is the issue actually. ASEAN has actually potential to lead in halal wellness tourism, tropical eco-retreats, and heritage medical corridors. But cross-border product development is weak. Okay, it's very weak. So if we don't collaborate, especially on standards and certification, we actually will lose grounds to the regions that are already packing such offering holistically. Yeah, there are other regions who is doing this. They are working hard also. Every region in the world is working hard for tourism. But when we see we has a proper niche market, we should actually take this opportunity, to promote. So ASEAN has, Malaysia could partner with Thailand, and Thailand could partner with Indonesia, all these things, and make it a very good package whereby tourists, not from the ASEAN country itself, but from the other regions of the world, to choose ASEAN as their tourism destination, because that side they have a different way of doing traveling. Summer traveling, when that side is cold, they don't want to be in cold area, they will come here 1-2 months. So they will like to go in all the other countries. And also some people goes on working holiday where they go for travel while they work. The world has changed. Now it's all online. So the countries must actually prepare for them this. So they can go on holiday in all the ASEAN countries and also do their work while they are actually on vacation,
You mentioned just now that we have to compete with other regions as well who have their own niche strategy in terms of this. Is there a region that we could learn that has successfully built a joint niche strategy that we could learn from, Doctor?
Yeah, actually we could see example I'm giving you. If we go to EU, you can go to our England, then you can go to France, you can go, you see the packages is 7 countries in 10 days, this is one thing, but ours could be 10 countries in 2 months, you see. So we could do better actually, because they want to see a different experience. Our weather is different, everything is different. Our food, our culture is different. So people from other regions will come to learn our culture. That is what we want actually.
And recently, Malaysia has waived visas for China and India to attract more tourists. Should ASEAN consider a more unified approach to visa-free travel? Would this encourage longer stays and multi-country itineraries across the region, Doctor?
Yeah, actually, the lack of a unified visa policy is one of ASEAN biggest stumbling block, I can say. If a traveler must actually apply separately for each country, it kills the momentum for multi-destination travel. You see, if you go to Thailand, you need a different visa. You go to, Vietnam, a different thing, So this is what ASEAN should be discussing. So regional visa waiver, starting with strategic markets like China and India, is very critical actually. So without it, ASEAN cannot compete with Europe or even the Middle East. Yeah.
And if full visa free travel is too ambitious, Doctor, would a 30-day multi-entry sticker, for example, be a more useful halfway step there?
Yeah, we can actually go from 30 days to 90 days even. You see, 30 days to 90 days, maybe multi-entry, because some may come, example, to Singapore, because their flights with connectivity, they need to come in back and go back. Certain countries may not have direct flight to their destination. So they need to look on that also, this part. So a multi-entry and a visa for multi-country ASEAN only with 90 days, I think is much good. It's very good already. So this is what the government should work. We has no power or anything to tell, but we can only suggest. But it goes back to the ASEAN ministers meeting, ASEAN meetings, which is so many out there. They should be discussing on these kinds of policy and hope to see some success with their discussion. Rather than we just listen a lot of discussions out there, but we don't see results coming in.
Yeah. Well, we're just getting started on how can we reimagine ASEAN as a one destination on its tourism attraction. We'll take a quick break. More on ASEAN Kita after this.
Kotak Milo ini penuh tenaga dan nutrien. Di tangan yang betul, ia jadi lebih lagi. Bila dikita semula, ia menjadi fasiliti sekolah. Meja untuk bina impian atau peralatan sukan untuk kenali bakat. Atasi cabaran, bina keyakinan. Dengan Milo, tenaga untuk kebaikan. Kami belajar melalui sukan. Jom mulakan kebaikan dengan kotak Milo.
Daulat Tuanku.
Aku dibesarkan bersama-sama Syamsi.
3 jaga 3.
Tak sangka Syamsi berbiru.
Kau jakrong, man. Tapak Syamsir. Semua orang ingat kau dah mati, Boran. Kau dapat peluang start balik. Lepas tu ini kau balik.
Dah sampai masa untuk awak putuskan siapa awak sebenarnya.
Aku Borhan. Aku Keluang Man.
Kalau kita tangkap Keluang Man, orang awam akan keji kita. Dia bagai seorang pahlawan.
Yang jadi pembela pada yang tiada upaya.
Itu bukan cerita Batman ke?
Ni cerita lain dah.
Di dalam setiap berita yang dibawa, konteks amat penting. Kami sentiasa membawakan yang tergempar dan terkini. Pastikan Astro AWANI menjadi pilihan anda, tidak kira di mana sahaja anda berada.
Daulat Tuanku.
Welcome back. You're still watching ASEAN Kita. I'm Amir Rahman. Joining us is our guest, Dr. Sri Ganesh, Secretary of the Malaysian Tourism Federation. So we're still unpacking on how can we reimagine ASEAN as one destination in its tourism attraction. Doctor, let's pick up where we left off. We often focus on capital cities, but tourism growth also depends on smaller destinations. In your view, which second-tier or maybe perhaps lesser-known ASEAN cities have a strong potential? What's needed to bring them to life? Maybe better flights, marketing, or perhaps infrastructure, Doctor?
Yeah, actually, if you ask lesser-known ASEAN cities, we can look like in Malaysia, we can see Sarawak, okay, Laos, Luang Prabang, Philippines, what they call it, Iloilo, something like that. You see, are rich actually in culture, cuisine, and eco attractions. Yeah, so but the threat is poor connectivity. Okay, they have nice destination, but poor connectivity and lack of coordinated marketing. Means the marketing between the ASEAN countries or even in their own country is very lack of marketing. So without regional air access policies and investments in the second-tier airports, these gems will remain hidden from the global travelers' radar. So that's why ASEAN, if the tourists come from EU, example, comes to Singapore, and from Singapore, they need to have a good connectivity, flight connectivity to those second-tier areas. You see? Yeah, so if they have too many connectivity, then it will make the tourists feel tired. Oh, I need to go to KL, then from KL, I need to go to Sarawak. You know, then from Sarawak, another flight into there. So this is something will make them feel tired. But if they have a longer period of time to be in ASEAN countries, then they would have the connectivity should be discussed between the ASEAN countries from where to where and where to where. So this will actually give more opportunities to it.
And many local tourism players like homestays, cafes and guides miss out on regional tourism campaigns. How can ASEAN governments help include them more directly in promotional efforts, Doctor? What is needed to ensure they benefit alongside big brands and hotel chains?
Yeah, actually the real risk is leaving SMEs behind. Currently, major players dominate regional exposure due to the funding and digital capabilities. Okay, they have good funding, they have good digital capabilities. So ASEAN actually needs a digital tourism marketplace, okay, that aggregates and promotes local experience actually. This is what we need first. Without this inclusivity, regional tourism growth will be top-heavy and unsustainable, leading to income inequality and community disengagement. Yeah, so this is what we need to look into. So how we promote them and how the SMEs can actually have a place to promote their products, and whatever they promote reach the tourists of the ASEAN community.
And Doctor, I would like to bring this discussion also to budget hotel sector across ASEAN, because we know when it comes to tourism, when it comes to tourists, they often pick budget hotel because it's much cheaper and it's much more reliable. And if you can see operating costs vary sharply between budget hotels in Hanoi and Jakarta and Manila, for example, because of local utility rates and also taxes. Maybe perhaps you could suggest what single regional policy could best narrow that cost gap and perhaps level the playing field across ASEAN, Doctor?
Yeah, if it comes to budget hotels, the governments should actually sit down and come with a better policy to ensure the sustainability of the budget hotels. That is something very important, that all the government in the ASEAN countries should sit down and come out with a proper policy. The issue now is the threats of the industry of the budget hotels. So that will increase their operational costs, hence make them to sell at a more higher price. So the tourists who comes to ASEAN, which wants to sit or stay in a cheaper rate hotel, and they can be in the ASEAN region for a longer period, they wouldn't stay in higher range hotel. They will prefer a lower rate hotel, but they can stay for a longer period. You see, so we should cater all segments of tourists. So when they stay in budget hotels, they need a good price. But the issue is facing the budget hotels segment or in all the ASEAN countries is the threats of the industry and unlevel playing field. So when you said level playing field, actually is because of the unlevel playing field, whereby we still allow the countries still don't regulate short-term rental accommodations, OTA issues, you know. So what are the difference of operational costs for a budget hotel and a higher rate hotel? So when a budget hotel, they needs to have a lower operational cost to give back a very affordable cost to the tourists who comes to their country.
And when you mention rivals and competition, we often see competition from homestays and also Airbnb is eating into budget hotel market share. What incentives or collaboration that could turn these segments into partners than rivals, Doctor?
Okay, it's just about regulations. We are licensed accommodation providers, and they are unlicensed accommodation providers. So we just want them to be regulated by a law and to ensure that everything they do follow is a fair level playing field for both parties. Okay, so they cannot, they need to follow certain regulations to enable them to ensure that property they do to be sold as a tourist accommodation. We don't want to have a tourist staying in a unit, short-term rental accommodation unit, STRA unit, and having a fight with the neighbor. You see, because the neighbor are the owners of the property, and they are just tourists staying as a neighbor, and tomorrow they go and a new person comes in. So this kind of regulation should be done, should have. So if there are these kinds of issues arose, then that particular country will be digital world, you know, people will start spreading reviews. And instead of, it's because of this STRA, it will affect the budget hotel or the hotel industries at a whole.
And Doctor, when we mentioned about budget hotels, workforce mobility is a challenge. Budget hotels rely on multitasking staff who frequently leave the industries. Malaysia, as a chair of ASEAN this year, what could we do to ensure this problem or to fill the shortages of hospitality skills in the country, that we can lead the other countries in ASEAN as well to ensure this problem is not damaging the budget hotel industry across the region, Doctor?
Yeah, actually, there are some good countries where we can see they have very good hospitality skills. Okay, so every of the ASEAN countries should discuss. They have their universities, they have their educational colleges in every countries. So should be discussed to get these students from any of the ASEAN countries, and they should be able to work in any of the ASEAN countries. You see? So they should share the workforce and skills between the ASEAN countries. And we also could to exchange culture and train them about our example coming to Malaysia to work. So they will learn the Malaysian culture. And when they go to Thailand, they will learn the Thailand culture, you know. But end up is just one, it's about hospitality.
And you mentioned before that ratings are often shared by the tourists. Should ASEAN introduce a dedicated a rating system of a budget hotel classification with realistic criteria, cleanliness, safety, and basic digital amenities tailored for smaller properties, Doctor, to make sure it's easier for tourists to compare and contrast which hotels or accommodation they would like to stay in?
Yeah, actually, we have ASEAN standards. Hotels, you know, it's just about ASEAN standards. Even a budget hotel, as long they fulfill the standards of cleanliness, of services provided, of digitalization, it's just same. The tourists will understand that. So it's about the operator to learn the standards and follow the standards with the guidance of each country's ministries and agencies, and including associations, you see.
And Dr. Malaysia is chairing ASEAN in 2025. If there's one tourism initiative you think we should lead to push the ASEAN as a one destination agenda, what would it be and why would it matter most right now?
Yeah, Malaysia actually should push for an ASEAN travel pass. Okay, as the chair, they should push for ASEAN travel pass. a unified digital platform offering visa facilitation, regional travel packages, and local offering listing. You see, it must actually be inclusive of the SMEs, especially the SMEs. So this single move actually can bridge policy gaps, enhance connectivity, and democratize access to regional tourism benefits. If we fail to act now, ASEAN may lose its tourism edge and more integrated regions. So we hope that Malaysia, as the chair for ASEAN 2025, to work hard and take action, and don't wait for the next chair to move, and another 10 years we will be chairing it with the same agenda again.
Well, that's all the time that we have for today's episode of ASEAN Kita. We would like to thank Dr. Sri Ganesh, Secretary General of the Malaysian Tourism Federation, for his insights. I guess that's all the time that we have for today's episode. I'm Amir Rahman. Thank you for watching. Until next time, take care and see you again on ASEAN Kita.
Daulat Tuanku.
Khabar Haji kini kembali bersama saya Sani Yahya
dan saya Izmir Faris membicarakan perihal ibadat dan berita haji.
Dan kita dapatkan juga perkembangan semasa daya rakan kita yang berada di Tanah Suci.
Untuk mendaki Jabal Nur
dari Mekah Al-Mukarramah.
Khabar Haji mulai 1 hingga 10 Jun bermula 7.15 malam di Astro AWANI
dan Astro Oasis.
Di sinilah bermulanya legasi. Segalanya unggul, tersemat di hati. Permainan sepenuh jiwa dan raga kini melangkah ke arena dunia. Bakat kemahiran kini megah terserlah, meredam kencang, membenteng padu. Setiap inci gerakan penuh mentafsir hati nurani. Aksi legasi kini mendominasi sangkom Digi Sepak Takraw secara langsung di Astro.
This little girl has been through such a tragic experience.
Her little eyes are weeping, she holds her head low. Signs that I've seen out in the wild of young calves that have been abandoned and are on their way out.
Naledi is losing weight and she's becoming skinny and weak.
I don't give her more than 2-3 days.
Watch the incredible true life story of a baby elephant's fight for survival and the determined men who saved her in Naledi, A Baby Elephant's Tale. Monday night on Global Trekker.
Daulat Tuanku.
Dua Perdana Menteri dari ASEAN, Sun Sai Sifandon dari Laos dan Pham Minh Chinh dari Vietnam dijadual mengadakan mesyuarat dengan Perdana Menteri Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim di Putrajaya. Malaysia dan Laos akan menandatangani memorandum kerjasama antara Tanah Laik Dry Port dan Pelabuhan Pulau Pinang, manakala pertemuan dengan Vietnam menyediakan platform untuk meneliti kemajuan di bawah kerjasama strategik komprehensif yang diwujudkan antara kedua-dua negara. Menjelang sidang kemuncak ASEAN ke-46, beberapa mesyuarat akan diadakan pada Ahad, antaranya mesyuarat Menteri-Menteri Luar ASEAN, sidang kemuncak Ekonomi Wanita ASEAN 2025 dan mesyuarat Menteri-Menteri ASEAN, Majlis Kerjasama Teluk GCC. Ikuti tumpuan kami dan banyak lagi di saluran 501 dan semua platform media sosial Astro AWANI.
Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Anda sedang menonton Buletin AWANI bersama saya Jiji Ahmad. Kita mulakan dengan berita ini. Perdana Menteri Laos, Sonixay Sifandon akan melakukan lawatan rasmi ke Malaysia mulai Ahad dan mengadakan perbincangan dengan rakan sejawatannya Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim bagi mengeratkan lagi kerjasama. Kementerian Luar dalam kenyataan berkata ini merupakan lawatan pertama si Van Don ke Malaysia sejak dipilih sebagai Perdana Menteri Laos pada Disember 2022. Lawatan rasmi itu berlangsung menjelang sidang kemuncak ASEAN ke-46, sidang kemuncak ASEAN GCC kedua